We are honored and delighted to have Mr. Varun Alag as our chief guest today, an electrical engineering alumnus from DCE and an MBA graduate from XLRI Jamshedpur. He is currently creating a line of honest, natural, and safe products as a part of his venture, Hunasa Consumer Private Limited. The Economic Times 40 Under 40 and the Forbes Tycoons of Tomorrow awards form a part of his remarkable feats over 16 years of diverse professional experience. We request you, sir, to please share your experiences and valuable insights with all of us.
Hey, hi everyone, good morning. सबसे पहले तो आप में से कितने लोग फर्स्ट ईयर वाले हैं? Oh, some things don't change. मैं देख रहा था बाहर से पकड़ पकड़ के ला रहे हैं लोग. And of course, the first year guys are the most malleable, right? And they can be invited. And, you know what? This is probably the first time I am on this dais. पूरे अपने 4 साल में मतलब कभी ऊपर आने का मौका नहीं मिला. But that just tells you that, you know, the day can come at any point of time. That you could be up here. I was right there, you know, amongst you guys 15 years ago when I was a part of this esteemed institution. And I will make sure I make the next 15 minutes worth your while, right? Because I genuinely believe that every minute that you spend living, right, should be treated as a minute that is valuable, and you should spend it doing things which add value to your life, right? Hence I'll make sure that, you know, what I talk to you, probably at least 1 or 2 things you can take away from it, which make you a better, you know, professional, better engineer, better human being, or just a better person. Right? I think, you know, I would probably, you know, sir talked about lessons. And I think firstly I must thank the honorary team here. They are my teachers, in fact. During my time, I've been taught by them, and today I have the honor of being here alongside them. It's just too, you know, too fulfilling. I rarely feel emotional standing here and addressing you guys. And so thank you so much for having me here. And I think let me start by a few lessons going back, tracking to, you know, the time when I was an engineer and I started this journey from this engineering college. And then over time, I'll talk about the different phases of my life and what I learned from them. And I think the lesson that I would talk about from my engineering, and you know, when I joined engineering, उससे 2 साल पहले ही कुछ होता है रिलीज हुई थी, तो मतलब ऐसा लगता था कॉलेज वैसे होगा, right? Rahul, Anjali, and you know the likes. Right? Of course, once you come here and you're caught talking to a girl in a ED class और आपकी सप्ली लग जाती है, फिर आपको पता चलता है not exactly कुछ होता है, right? So this is real shit, right? And you've got to pick up new skills very quickly because 8 subjects to a semester, and you got to manage them all, and you got to do well. And you know what? One of the things that I learned, and I learned very late in life, right, is that while the subjects might not matter later in your life, right, the pedagogy does, right? To be able to manage so much together, right, and to be able to deliver excellence in all of those along with your extracurriculars, right, just makes you ready for life. Right? So that, because later on in your life as well, you will need to manage so many things together. Right? एक तरफ operations है, एक तरफ electrical है, एक तरफ something that you love, while एक तरफ something that you hate. Right? But reality is, सब चीज़ को ढंग से करना पड़ेगा. Right? Only then people would treat you as someone who's a successful professional. Right? Not only something that you like is what you can excel at. So I think the first thing for me that I realized pretty late was, and while you're in it, you don't realize it. Right? But when you're out of it, you realize that it was not just about the subjects, but also the pedagogy, right? The fact that you had to work in groups, the fact that you had to sort of, manage so many subjects together, and that was very useful because it builds a muscle जो बाद में बहुत काम आती है. I think the second piece for me, and I was a part of some of these societies as well, Troika, NG Fest, we organized a lot of those, and during some of those festivals is where this realization happened for me, right? So I used to manage sponsorships, right? And I realized that, I was good at that. I was good at pitching. I was good at sort of, creating a pitch, getting sponsors, etc. And I really liked it. We spend a lot of time listening to others and talking to others, right? But we don't spend time talking to ourselves. Right? It is very important to know who you are. तुम हो कौन? What excites you as a person? When was the last time, and just close your eyes and think about it, right? When was the last time you said yes? Right? When you were so happy, right, that it made you feel like, oh my God, I love this. Right? It could have been solving a problem. It could have been, speaking at an event. It could have been going for a sponsorship pitch. It could have been writing a paper. Right? When did you feel energetic and excited? Right? And that's, knowing that makes a huge difference, because आपको ये पता होना चाहिए आप कौन हो. What do you like? Because that is what will help you shape and become the successful person that you want to be. Right? जब तक ये सोचते रहोगे कि यार, what does the world want me to be? What does the society want me to be? What is my friend becoming? Right? You'll probably not crack it here. Right? Till you don't start talking to yourself and realizing what do you like? What are you good at? What do you enjoy? When do you feel most energetic and most powerful? And start talking to yourself and figuring that out. And then devote yourself in building a life towards that. Right? When I realized that, I was far more engaged and happier in doing the business side of things, and that was about in third year, and is when I figured that, okay, business is something that is in for me, and hence probably even from an education perspective, MBA is what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to do it because सब लोग कर रहे हैं, right? सब CAT का पेपर बना रहे हैं, मैं भी बना लेता हूँ. Right? That was not the reason. A lot of people do it for that. Right? Reality will not lead you to long-term success. You've got to feel it in you कि यार ये पसंद है मुझे करना. So I think one biggest learning for me would be not just spending time talking to others, but spending time talking to yourself and realizing who you are. And it'll help you shape and take decisions which are far more useful for yourself. And from engineering, I joined XLRI Jamshedpur. मेरा FMS XL दोनों में हो गया था, but I felt कि यार hostel जाना चाहिए. I was a day scholar at DC, right? And I missed out on a lot of action that you see as a hostler. And so I felt that I wanted to experience the hostel life, right? And I went to XLRI, right? A great decision, right? Because what I learned just by living there and being with my friends and colleagues and peers, right, was just far more powerful. And if I was to say one thing that I learned there, is, so like I said, right, I had a certain belief and I'd started sort of, talking to myself and figuring out what I wanted to do. And very early on, I had actually, realized that, this marketing, right, consumer products, FMCG brands, advertising, right, ये मेरे को excite करता है. And even in Excel, right, when summer placements happen, and I only applied for 4 companies, right, which was the FMCG companies that I wanted to be a part of. Right? And 4 में से जो है 2 ने shortlist ही नहीं किया. हो जाता है यार, मतलब नहीं पसंद आई मेरी profile. And till the 3rd day of summer placements, right, I did not have an internship offer. And like, I was worried, right, कि यार क्या हुआ? मतलब finally the 3rd one that I had applied to, Colgate Palmolive, right, I got my internship with them, right? They did not have a PPO policy, so a lot of people were saying कि यार कर भी लेगा तो job तो नहीं मिलेगी यहाँ से, right? But I was like, यार, I'm not doing it for the job. I want to do it because I actually want to learn the industry more, right? And during this whole period, it was really challenging and heartbreaking, right? Because आपको लगता है आपने एक डिसीजन लिया है, but you keep doubting yourself, saying कि यार ये ठीक किया नहीं किया, ये लेना चाहिए था या वेट कर लेना चाहिए था. सब लोग बैंकिंग और कंसल्टिंग में अप्लाई कर लेते, तू भी कर लेता, एटलीस्ट बेटर इंटर्नशिप मिल जाती. यू कीप क्वेश्चनिंग योरसेल्फ. I think the biggest learning for me was, and when final placements came in, I was actually the first person in my college to get placed, and I got my dream job with Hindustan Unilever, which was what I always wanted to be a part of, right? Because they were the best place for FMCG marketing. And I think over time I learned that when you know what you want to do and you just stand for that, right, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference just knowing that this is your calling, and then just standing by that calling day in day out, right? Not wavering because someone comes and tells you कि यार ये low risk वाला काम है, आज ये कर ले, तो बाद में जो है life will become sort of, you can take the hard calls later. You got to take the hard calls now. You got to stand, hard now, and that's something that I learned from my B school. I think उसके बाद I joined HUL and had an amazing training stint, from living in London to living in बख्शी का तालाब करके एक district है लखनऊ से 80 किलोमीटर दूर. I lived in a mud hut with Shakti Amma who used to run the business there. तो उनके घर में रुका था मैं 3 हफ्ते, and all kind of experiences, right? And if there's one thing that I learned while doing all of that was all businesses, all jobs are all about human connections. It's just about knowing humans and how they operate. What are their motivations? And आप चाहे business में हो, आप चाहे किसी job में हो where you'll need to work with your team, with your manager. And it is very important to know what do people get motivated with, right? What do they want to do and how can you help them do that better? आप चाहे teams में काम कर रहे हो, team dynamics में it's all about कि यार लोगों के objectives क्या हैं, how do you read them, what kind of people they are, what kind of things do they get inspired with, right? चाहे you have a reporting boss, understanding them and understanding their ambitions will be important, right? Similarly your consumers, right? What are their motivations, how do you understand them and just treat them as humans, right? Because everything that you're doing as teams or in businesses is serving humanity, right? And serving humans, not in terms of the corporate social good perspective, but in general, right? We are all a human race and we have built whatever we are building here. So knowing that at the heart of it is very critical, right? And that's what I learned there, right? I did about 10 years of a corporate career, right? My last job I was heading Coca-Cola for India, and that's the job when we had our son Agastya come into our lives, and which is when we started searching for the right products for him, is when we realized कि यार कुछ अच्छे natural certified safe products नहीं है. There was a lot of negative noise around chemicals found in personal care which were causing cancer amongst kids, and that just scared us as a parent, and we felt कि यार किसी को कुछ करना चाहिए इसके लिए. Of course that's how you start, right? Almost all problems that you see nearby, right? वो college की problems हो, saying कि यार कोई कुछ करता क्यों नहीं है, ये लोग कुछ कर क्यों नहीं रहे, right? ये classes ऐसी क्यों हैं, ये पढ़ाने का तरीका ऐसा क्यों है, ये बाहर के पार्क के घास कोई क्यों नहीं काट. All of that, right? That's how you react, right? That's our first reaction as well. Our first reaction was the same, saying कि यार why is someone not doing something about it? And over time we realized कि यार why is it that we keep externalizing this question? If the problem is so large and we are feeling so strongly for it, right, why are we not asking the question saying, what can I do about it? How can I change this? Right? And while asking that question is when we came across this idea of building this business, launching a brand which stood for certified safe, toxin-free, clean label products for kids and then for adults. Right? And doing that and taking that decision itself was very challenging, right? I had a great job. I talked about in the last interview, best celebrities from you know, Alia, Deepika, everyone was on our ad campaigns. Coke Studio run karta tha, and FIFA Trophy is something that we used to sponsor and we used to run, right? So like the works, right? As a job, the perks that you can expect I was getting. And from there, you know, 1.5-year-old child, parents who are about to retire, taking a decision of quitting that and starting a company, and is a very fearful decision, right? डर लगता है, and कि यार अगर नहीं चलेगा तो क्या करेंगे? And you know, I understood कि emotion को emotion ही हरा सकता है finally. And fear is an emotion, right? It's a negative emotion. And, but the emotion that worked for us in overcoming that fear, right, was feeling of regret. Saying कि अगर नहीं किया, अगर try नहीं किया, then, and I'm 50, 55, right, and I'm somewhere, and I'm asking myself कि यार तूने try नहीं किया. You had one life and you could give it to what you really felt strongly for, and, but you didn't even try. And that feeling is such a bad feeling because you can't turn time. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप वापस आ सकते हो और दोबारा ट्राई कर सकते हो. If you fail, you can still live with it. Saying कुछ नहीं होता, 2 साल लगेंगे, 3 साल लगेंगे, you'll overcome the failure. But if you don't even try, that feeling of hollowness you cannot get over. And that was the biggest emotion which got us to quit you know, a well-paying job and start this company, and which was that feeling of regret is going to be much worse than feeling of failure. And so let me ensure that I give it a try, right? Because finally one life, right? And we owe it to ourselves to pursue the dreams that we are really meant for. And I think that was the start of the journey. And after that, what we experienced was that, you know, you might be coming from ex-educational background, you might have 10 years of relevant experience under your belt, right? But there is actually no silver bullet, there is no shortcut to success. You gotta work hard, right? सूरज से ज़्यादा चमकना है तो सूरज से पहले उठना ही पड़ता है, कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है लाइफ में. If you want to get somewhere, कहीं पहुंचने के लिए कहीं निकलना ही पड़ता है, right? Remember that dialogue, etc. So I mean, you've got to put in those hours, yeah, and you've got to put in real hard work, and you've got to feel passionately for what you're doing. And there are going to be days when you feel sad because something happened to you. There are going to be days where you feel like why you started something or why you're doing something, but you've got to put in those hours, right? There is no other substitute to it, right? For us, it was a very hard journey to start with, right? Ego-crushing experiences where we were made to wait at receptions, people didn't want to meet us, talk to us to start with. आप कोई भी नहीं हो ना यार, you just have an idea in your mind, right? आप 1-2 लोग हो जो कुछ करना चाहते हो उस टाइम पे, and you don't have any business, you don't have any money, you don't have any capital, कोई जानता नहीं आपको, and you need vendor से लेके मतलब ऑफिस रेंट पे लेने तक जो है आपको पिच करनी पड़ती है. यू हैव टू कन्विंस पीपल सेइंग यू आर वर्थ इट, राइट? आप रेंट दे पाओगे. यू हैव टू कन्विंस एंड पिच टू योर फर्स्ट एम्प्लॉयज एज वेल दैट यू आर वर्थ ज्वाइनिंग, राइट? एंड आपके ऊपर उनको भरोसा करना चाहिए कि आप सैलरी पे कर पाओगे. एंड that time requires you to work really hard. There is no shortcut to it, right? So if any of you is thinking about entrepreneurship or even a corporate career, and there is no substitute to hard work, right? We will all need to put our hours of tapasya. Could be different times, right? But that is what is accepted to you. I think the other learning that we had while building this company was showing up makes a difference, guys. Right? There are going to be a lot of times when you will wake up, right? And you will not feel like getting up from the bed. There are going to be a lot of times when you're not just inspired to do something, right? But you've got to show up, right? Even the best artists in the world, right? Picasso, you know, and we think artists must be whimsical people, jinko kuch aaya, paint kar diya, etc. And Picasso, who's, you know, a renowned artist, and will get into his studio 9 a.m. sharp and will stay in his studio till 9 p.m. at night. He will paint 100 पेंटिंग बनाता था, उसमें से 2 ढंग की बनती थी, बट अगर वो 12 घंटे नहीं लगाया होता तो 100 पेंटिंग बना नहीं पाता, एंड that's the only way to sort of get it done, which is showing up, right? In fact, let me tell you an example. COVID, when it came, right, we had grand plans for that year, and 23 March, usually 1st April से नया साल शुरू होता है for a company, and 23rd March, you know, when the Prime Minister came and announced कि बॉस lockdown हो रहा है, and all of our plans were just shot, right? I mean, and we all had to shut down offices, shut down warehouses, and sit at home, and 3-4 दिन के बाद मतलब ऐसे जैसे कीड़ा रेंगना शुरू हो गया अंदर से कि यार हम लोग कैसे बैठ सकते हैं, वी आर अ स्टार्टअप, राइट? Why, how can we sit, right? What can we do to change this? And it's a very difficult time because you can't even ask people around you, like employees in your team, कि यार चलो step up करते हैं, कुछ करते हैं, and hence you only need to lead from example, right? And I just started sort of, you know, going out and meeting different kind of government and police officials, right? Becoming a part of their groups, etc. And 2-3 दिन बाद ही I got an invite to be present as a part of a Delhi Commissioner's office, and बड़ा painful था क्योंकि सड़क पे आप चल रहे होते थे, हर 1 किलोमीटर पे आपको कोई रोक लेता था, and you had to sort of tell them इधर जा रहे हैं उधर जा रहे हैं, बड़ी मुश्किल से निकलना पड़ता था, and I got an invite to be at a Delhi Police Commissioner's office, right? And my family was saying कि यार दिल्ली नहीं जाना, हम लोग गुड़गांव रहते थे, right? Saying कि बहुत ज़्यादा वो है, कोविड है, I was like यार करना पड़ेगा, right? I want to go, I want to show up, I've got this invite, I want to show up, right? I showed up. I was sitting in a meeting where there was Amazon, Flipkart, Big Basket, right? Some of the grocery folks were there, right? और उनके साथ मैं भी बैठा था, and they had a 1 hour long discussion. I participated very feebly in that discussion. मेरे को ज़्यादा value add करने को था ही नहीं, but at the end of it, they announced saying Amazon 200 passes, Flipkart 200 passes, you know, Big Basket 200 passes, Mamaearth 200 passes, and I was like, boss, काम हो गया, right? I now have passes to open up my warehouse and actually run my business, right? And वो 200 pass लेके मैं अपनी team के पास गया, मैं कहा, boss, we have it, right? We can actually operate our business, right? And उन 3 महीने में we tripled our business because nobody else was out there, nobody else showed up, and we showed up, right? And that made a huge difference. So showing up makes a difference, guys. And the thank you. And the last thing that I would want to leave with you guys is, guys, this is one life which we've been all awarded, rewarded with by God or by grace of your parents. And whatever you do, right? Travel, sing, dance, laugh, read, learn, work. And just don't chill, which is just being there unconsciously, not thinking about where you're going, what you're doing, and how you're using that minute of that beautiful, precious life that has been given to you. And I think if I have the regret in my education life is I listened to too many people who said, yaar, just chill karte hain. Right? Don't waste that time, man. Do anything else. I'm saying sing, dance, love, read, whatever you want to do. Right? But ye jo chill wala scene hai na, right? It's just not worth the time given to your life. Right? It is treat every day as it was the last day, as Steve Jobs said. Right? And imagine if you're spending that time doing what you really want to do, learning something new, seeing something new, having conversations which lead to you becoming a richer, more valuable person, and rather than just chilling. And because only dead bodies are supposed to chill. Right? We are all supposed to be 8.4 degrees, warm and hot and raring to go. And so with that, I would thank you again for having me as a part of this amazing festival. And I wish you all the best to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request the dignitaries on the dais to release the brochure for Invictus 2023. I would now like to request Professor Yasha Hasija, Co-Chairperson, Technical Council, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Professor J.P. Seni, Mr. Varun Alag, our Chief Guest for today's function, Professor Madhusudan Singh, Registrar DTU, Professor Rachna Garg, Chairperson, Technical Council, Professor Ram Singh, Associate Dean, Student Welfare, Priyansh Tyagi, President, Technical Council, Deans, HODs, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is rightly said, gratitude can transform common days into thanksgivings, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. Today, I take this opportunity to congratulate and thank all the members of DTU fraternity on the occasion of the inauguration of the annual Technical Festival of the University, Invictus 2023. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our chief guest and our very dear alumnus, Mr. Varun Alag, for sparing his valuable time and gracing the occasion. Because I know, sharing your journey through your interaction with the students, you have motivated young minds to aspire high, work hard, and after which, sky is the limit. As he's rightly said, कुछ करने के लिए घर से निकलना पड़ता है. I wish to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor J.P. Saini, for his vision, his valuable guidance and encouragement in all our efforts. This event would not have been possible without his firm support. I wish to thank Professor Madhusudan Singh, Registrar DTU, who made sure that this event is possible with all his support and motivation throughout the planning and implementation of the festival. I also wish to express my thanks to Professor S. Indu, Dean Student Welfare, and Professor Ram Singh, Associate Dean Student Welfare, whose strong support and inspiration was a driving factor in the successful initiation and organization of the festival. I wish to express my deepest gratitude to the backbone of INVICTUS-23, Professor Rachna Garg. She's truly worked really hard and have left no stone unturned to ensure the success of this event. I would also like to extend special thanks to the Student Technical Council for their hard work, dedication, and passion they put in organizing this technical festival. Their tireless efforts have created an atmosphere that fostered learning, creativity, and innovation, and I'm confident that this experience will stay with our students for years to come. I would also like to thank the faculty advisors of all the student societies for their continuous support, wonderful ideas, and for materializing the vision of these societies. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the members of the organizing committee who have worked hard to make this event a success. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the deans, the HODs, the faculty members, our staff members, and our student volunteers who have worked tirelessly day in and out to make this event memorable for all of us. I wish to particularly thank the engineering cell for their support, especially Professor Amish Srivastava and Professor Rizwan for their efforts. I express my sincere appreciation for the GA branch for their continuous support, and also I thank DTU Studio for covering the event. I would also like to thank all our distinguished speakers and guests for their gracious presence with us tonight and for continuously being a source of motivation for all of us. In the end, I would like to thank all the people whose name I may have forgotten, but their contribution to this event can never be forgotten. Thank you all.
Moving on, as Steve Jobs rightly said, let's go invent tomorrow instead of worrying about what happened yesterday. As we come to the end of the ceremony, we hope that all of you will immerse yourself and enjoy yourself in the various events planned under Invictus.